the skull beneath the skin. My name is Johann Shmidt. You have heard other names. You have seen other faces, but that is the one that matters. It is the name of the boy who was promised nothing, and so decided to take everything. I am speaking to you now from a place beyond time, a cold, quiet rock adrift in the cosmos. Here, I see all the paths, all the choices. I am a ghost, a guide, a punishment for a man who wanted to be a god. But before the ghost, before the monster, there was the boy, Johann. Do you think I was born this way? Do you imagine I came into the world with a heart full of hate? No. I came into the world like any other child, crying, reaching for a warmth that was not there. My first memory is of hunger, a gnawing, hollow thing in the pit of my stomach that was my only constant companion. My second memory is the cold. The stone floors of the orphanage, the thin blankets, the chilling indifference in the eyes of those paid to care for us. I learned early that the world is not kind. It is a machine of gears and teeth. You are either one of the gears, turning for someone else's purpose, or you are crushed between them. There is no third option. I grew up in the alleys, in the shadows. I learned to fight for scraps of bread. I learned that a show of weakness was an invitation for pain. Pain was my first teacher. Fear was my second. They taught me everything I needed to know about humanity. People talk of good and evil as if they are forces from the heavens. They are not. They are words, excuses. Good is what the powerful call their own actions. Evil is what they call the actions of those who oppose them. I saw the truth. I saw the hypocrisy in the priests who spoke of charity while their bellies were full. I saw the lies in the mouths of politicians who promised a better future while they lined their own pockets. I saw men and women huddled in their small, fearful lives, praying to gods who never answered, trusting in leaders who always betrayed them. And I despise them for it. I despise their weakness, their willingness to be led like sheep, their belief in fairy tales. Then he found me. The Führer. He saw something in me. Not a boy. Not a man. He saw a tool. A weapon. He saw a will that had been forged in the fires of absolute neglect. He spoke of destiny, of a glorious nation, of a 1,000-year Reich. I listened, but I did not hear the words he was saying. I heard the music beneath them, the song of power, the rhythm of control. He wanted to build a better Germany. A noble goal, I suppose, for a limited man. My vision was grander. I did not care for one nation. I cared for humanity itself. I saw a species that was sick, infected with a disease. A terrible, beautiful disease called freedom. What is freedom, really? It is the freedom to starve. The freedom to fail, the freedom to hurt one another over petty disagreements about borders and gods and shiny pieces of metal. It is the freedom to be ignorant, to be weak, to be afraid. You are told that freedom is your greatest gift. It is your heaviest chain. It keeps you running in circles, chasing your own tails, too busy fighting amongst yourselves to see the bars of the cage. I wanted to break the cage. Not by opening the door, but by melting it down and forging something new, something pure, something orderly. A better world. That is all I have ever wanted. A world without chaos. A world without the random, pointless suffering that defined my own childhood. A world where every man, woman, and child has a purpose, a place. A world where no little boy ever has to starve in an alley again. To build that world, I needed power. Not the fleeting power of politics or money. I needed true power. The power of the gods. The serum was the first step. Dr. Erskine. A brilliant, sentimental old fool. He wanted to create a good man. A strong man, yes, but a good one. He did not understand. You cannot make a man good by making him strong. Strength does not create character. It reveals it. When the serum flooded my veins. It was not pain I felt. It was clarity. It was like a fire that burned away everything that was not essential. It burned away the boy, Johann. It burned away the weakness, the doubt, the fear. And it burned away my face. When I first saw it, this face, I did not scream. I did not despair. I laughed. Because for the first time, I saw my own truth looking back at me from the mirror. This is not a mask. This is a revelation. It is the skull beneath the skin. The truth that all of you hide from. You cover your skulls with flesh and hair and smiles, pretending you are not all just walking skeletons, marching towards an inevitable end. I no longer have to pretend. I am truth. I am what you are, stripped bare. With this new body, this new clarity, I built Hydra. Not as a part of his army. Hydra was mine. It was an idea, the ancient serpent of wisdom. We understood that humanity could not be trusted with its own future. It had to be guided, controlled, saved from itself. Cut off one head, and two more shall take its place. It was not just a slogan, it was a promise. An idea is bulletproof. An idea can outlive any man. And then, I found it. The Tesseract, the jewel of Odin's treasury. It was not a weapon to me. It was a key. The key to everything. The power of creation in the palm of my hand. With it, I would not have to conquer the world. I would rewrite it. I would erase the chaos. I would bring about a perfect, silent, unyielding peace. My peace. And then, he appeared. The captain, Steve Rogers. They took Erskine's formula, his foolish hope, and they gave it to a boy from Brooklyn. A boy just as small and weak as I once was. But where the world had given me cruelty, it had given him kindness. He believed in the fairy tales. He believed in good and evil. He draped himself in a flag and called himself a hero. He was the perfect soldier for a world I wanted to burn. He looked at me and saw a monster. He did not see the boy I had been. He did not understand the world I wanted to build. He only saw something to be punched, something to be stopped. He was the embodiment of the lie. The grand, beautiful lie that one good man with a pure heart can stand against the tide. He was a poster boy for a dying world. And I hated him for it. I hated his simple, earnest hope. I hated his strength, which he used not to rule, but to serve. I hated that he looked at humanity and saw something worth saving just as it was, with all its flaws, all its chaos, all its pointless, messy freedom. Our final battle. It was not about nations. It was not about armies. It was a battle of philosophies, played out with fists and a shield. The man who embraced the skull beneath the skin versus the man who hid behind a smiling mask of hope. In the end, he was willing to die for his world. And I was willing to become a god for mine. I held the Tesseract in my hand. I felt the universe crackle at my fingertips. I was so close. I saw the pathways of creation, the strings of reality. I was ready to become the master of it all. But the cube had other ideas. Power that great is not meant for a human hand, not even mine. It did not see a savior. It did not see a god in waiting. It saw a flawed, ambitious man reaching for something he could not comprehend. It judged me, and it cast me out. The pain was indescribable. I was torn apart, atom by atom. Stretched across space and time, I saw the birth of stars and the death of galaxies. I saw empires rise and fall in the blink of an eye. And then, silence. I found myself here, on Formir. This barren world, under a dying Sunday, a place of sacrifice. And I, the man who would sacrifice the entire world for his vision, was made its guardian, its priest, its prisoner. The irony is not lost on me. For an eternity, I have stood on this cliff. I have watched souls come here, desperate for the ultimate prize, The Soul Stone. I have had to explain the price. A soul for a soul. I, who have no soul left to give, must guide others as they shatter their own. I have watched fathers sacrifice daughters. I have watched lovers sacrifice each other. I have seen every shade of love and grief and desperation imaginable. I have witnessed more raw, messy, chaotic human emotion than I ever did on Earth. And I have had time to think. So much time. Do I have regrets? Regret is a useless emotion. It is a poison. It changes nothing. Do I regret trying to build a better world? No. My diagnosis of humanity was correct. Look at you. Even now. You are still fighting. Still killing. Still afraid. You still cling to your flawed freedoms as you inch ever closer to your own destruction. I was right. I am still right. But my methods, my ambition. I reached for the sun, and I was burned. I tried to become a god, and I was made into a ghost. Perhaps Erskine was right about one thing. The serum. It amplifies what is inside. Inside of Rogers was goodness, sacrifice, honor. Inside of me was a hungry, frightened boy from a German alley. A boy who was so determined to never be weak again that he became a monster. A boy who hated the world so much he thought the only way to save it was to break it completely. I stand here now, a whisper in the dark, a warning, a forgotten story. I know the price of power. I am the price of power. I watch the souls come and go. I see their pain, I see their love, and I see that it is all the same thing. Two sides of the same flawed human coin. It is the chaos I tried so desperately to erase. And it is the one thing that has endured. My name is Johann Shmidt, and I am alone. I have always been alone. That is the one truth that the serum did not need to reveal. I knew it all along. Now you know it too.